either you or me, whoever sees them, will bring them in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the We the World's Women and Allies Networking Monthly Meeting, where we are going to be discussing how we can work together and accomplish twice as much, and where we can answer the question, what can we do together that we cannot do on our own? So I'm so honored to be here with Rick Ulfik, who is the founder of We the World. And we have some incredible opportunities for women and allies and families to come together to be a part of some of the most amazing things happening in history. So here comes Aurora too. I'm going to bring her in here. We have the amazing Teri Angel, who's going to talk to us about Peace on Earth tour. And we're going to hear from our amazing Aurora, who's going to share with us about what's going to be happening for World Unity Week. We have some exciting news for that. So I'll turn this over to Rick so Rick can share what's happening in the We the World hemisphere.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's great to be on with you, Karen. And welcome to everyone on our Women and Allies networking meeting. And this is something we're starting now. It's going to be monthly. So please go to we.net to find out more about that and about all of the things having to do with We the World. And so it's really wonderful to see everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Karen, our host. Karen Palmer is a global kindness leader and a live stream social media expert who co-produces several popular online talk shows, and she is also coordinator of We the World's campaign for women, and that includes allies of women as well. You can find her at globalkindnesstv.org. And we have some wonderful guests who are going to talk about what they're doing for women and what they're doing in the world to create a world that works for all. Thank you. So shall we bring in some of these amazing folks?
Yeah, I think it would be great if we have Aurora speak, because she speaks is going to be sharing with us the amazing work that we're going to be doing next month, and where we want to offer opportunities for many to come in and to join us in this wonderful, one time in history. This is something that we are changing the way that we have this narrative, where we can bring together an opportunity for everyone to be seen and heard. And that's what this networking monthly is all about. We want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to shine their beautiful light, because there's so much wonderful things happening in our world. And I'm so excited that Janet Grace just came in here. So we have the amazing Aurora Pagonis, and I would love for her to just share a little bit about the amazing work that she is doing. She's just too wonderful for words. Honestly, I just feel like she is such a gift to our planet, and I'm ecstatic to talk to her about hearing what's going to happen for World Unity Week. And then we'll be expanding that to go into our 11 days of global unity, which will be in September. Everyone has an opportunity here. If you're an organization that is for women, for allies, or for families, we'd love to hear from you. We would love you to join us. If you go to we.net, you can go into the partners and you can just click on there to join as a partner. When you join as a partner, you're going to be invited every month to be here and to have these opportunities to network, to collaborate, to cross promote, and to work together and accomplish twice as much. It's just such a beautiful opportunity for all of us to really share what's happening in your corner of the world so that we can see that everyone is doing something in their corner of the world. And Rick, thank you so much for your vision of We the World, a world that works for all of us. I just think it's the most beautiful vision that we can hold in our hearts. So Aurora, can you take it away?
A very good morning and good evening. I'm tuning in from the east coast of Australia. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Karen. Beautiful to see Grace and Teri on the screen here. And I have a big smile on my face because I just love being in good company. And there's that sense of just really being at home with each of you. So thank you so much. Just before I share a little bit about some of the events that are coming up, it just feels really potent and really important and relevant right now for us to really be coming together. And to be coming together in sacred space and to be coming together from a place of being able to express what's truly showing up in our hearts and also what we're seeing, because it feels like there's been an acceleration of chaos, you know, chaos on the outer, both locally and globally. I know that most people in my community, including myself and others I know, have something that they're navigating that is quite challenging, yet of course, which is opening up new doors of newness. And so more than ever right now, it feels important that we come together and drop in sacred space and really use the ancient knowledge of sacred circle work, where we're sharing our hearts and our truth and allowing ourselves to really see what starts to come up in the center so we can actually focus our awareness on goodness. And so on June the 1st, we're having our next Sacred Conversations. I feel so blessed to be co-creating with We the World and Karen, who's holding the helm for the women's campaign specifically. And Sacred Conversation is an opportunity for us really just to come and be ourselves. No matter what we're holding in the world as mothers, daughters, leaders, people who are actually, creating spaces for healing or other things, just to show up as ourselves and have an opportunity to go inward, to explore, to connect, and really to come into a place of loving presence, because it allows us to come into a really deep nurturing space. And I feel like the world right now needs that nurturing, the nurturing of the mother, the nurturing of woman. So the invitation to come and join us at Sacred Conversations on June the 1st. And I feel so excited that beautiful Janet Grace, who co-created Sacred Conversations with me, will be co-hosting moving forward with We the World. So welcome, beautiful Grace. And this month, each month we're going to have a new theme. This month we're going to speak into unity. As we're approaching World Unity Week, just so we can start to explore what places within us still are needing the love of wholeness. Where are we still feeling separate? Where can we move forward in that deeper awareness? So June the 1st at 4:30 p.m. PST, and we will share in a link here how the women who are able to or want to come to join us can find us for Sacred Conversations. If you just send a little email, and I know that there'll be an updated link very soon so we can send you all that information. And did you want me to go into a little bit of information on World Unity Week or come back to that later, Karen? Do that now? Okay, great. Well, I feel very, very excited again that co-creation is at play here in so many ways, and so many individuals and organisations are coming to really come into collective genius and share genius. And World Unity Week feels like it's growing in such momentum, and a huge wave is already happening across the globe of unity and support. And so what we've decided to do, a group of 7 sisters have come together. Grace is one of them. And also we will be weaving very strongly and beautifully with We the World. We're actually putting forward a temple of the rising feminine. We've started grounding in that temple, and the 4 days that we'll be inviting women to come and gather in that temple, we'll be going through a beautiful, a journey, starting from release in terms of being able to step into more healing, stepping into remembering the essence of woman and all of the qualities that we have, really some of us disconnected from, but reconnecting to from the ancient ones till moving into today, rising into the new evolutionary feminine, and then reuniting into wholeness. So on June the 3rd at 5 p.m. PST, we will be sharing just an invitation for the women and all of you women to come and just to hear a little bit more about what's happening on World Unity Week in the Temple of the Rising Feminine, and to give you all an opportunity to show up in ways that you would like to contribute, whether it's a participant or whether you'd like to present or come onto a panel. So I think that's all. Is there anything else that I've left out, Grace? And you're on mute, my darling.
I think that was beautifully complete. And yeah, so many juicy details are coming together for the Temple of the Rising Feminine. And it's really exciting because there's just so much energy in that unfoldment of the co-creation. And so we invite all the women who are invited and inspired to come in and see what we're all about and see how you can contribute. Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
And we're also going to make it super easy to invite your women in your community and their women in their community as well, because, you know, we're all sort of showing up here in our leadership from a place of volunteering our love and our hearts, because we're holding that bigger promise of a world that works for all. So we'd love your support in that as well. And over to you, Karen and Rick. Loving being here this morning, and thank you for kicking off. I'm excited to see what we're doing on our networking day. I bet you've got some fun things up your sleeve.
Well, Rick and I were just talking about World Unity Week, and we will have a room for women, allies, and families for that week. We will be doing a panel that will focus on having that conversation about what can we do together that we cannot do on our own. That will be basically our conversation, that we can be continually having that narrative so that we create a new way that we collaborate and a new way that we are cross-promoting, where everyone shines and where everyone has the opportunity to really open up and share whatever is happening in their community, because we really need to look at how can we honestly, as a we, you know, go from that me society to a we society and really have this conversation. I have so many people that I talk to on a regular basis who just are not even in that understanding that it's possible to have a unity consciousness. There's many people who are really just don't even actually understand it. So Rick, I would love for you to touch on that for people who are just tuning in and maybe are not very, you know, conscious about what's happening and maybe feel very afraid right now because they don't really understand this unity consciousness, and they don't really understand how do we go from the me to we. And how do we bridge that? I'd love for you to touch on that with our beautiful audience. And I've typed in here, anybody who has questions or comments, please, this is not a monologue, this is a dialogue where everyone is welcome to share and to speak. And this is what I love about Rick, and I love about We the World, is that we really want to have this dialogue and have a new narrative. So Rick, can you talk to that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess for me, it's about this idea of expanding the concept of we. No matter what our culture or background, when we use the word we usually are talking about, you know, the people in our lives that are the most important to us. Like, you know, what are we doing on the weekend? So you're thinking your family usually, or your circle of loved ones. So, but what about thinking about we, does that include your pets as an example? Does it include your plants as an example? Does it go beyond your family to your community? Like, what are we doing? Some people are into sports and their teams. Well, we won this time. But it's about expanding that idea. It's not that hard to think of it, because people can quickly say, oh, we're Americans, so that's it, or we're Australians, so that's another expansion. But the idea is to take that and expand it to all of life on the planet, because what we are beginning to realize, and especially coming out of the pandemic, is that we're totally interdependent. If one person has COVID in your community, and I mean, we're trying to get vaccinated now, but it's dangerous, right? If there's one person who might potentially infect other people, and there are variants around, and so you can't even tell what's going on. But what about expanding that to if there's one homeless person in your neighborhood, or one person who's discriminated against? Then maybe the community is at risk for that reason as well. So that's like how you can begin to expand the concept of we to really go to the whole planet, and in fact the ecosystems that support life on the planet. So it's really thinking of it that like that, and then ultimately we are one. You know, it's that astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who started the Institute of Noetic Sciences. He was on his way back from the moon. He saw the globe of Earth floating in space, and he realized this is one. It's one unit. We're all part of this living system of Earth. And it changed his life forever, and it changed many people's lives forever. So that's one way to think about expanding the concept of we, and then ultimately we are one.
That's beautiful. I really love that. I'd like to build on that with Teri Angel, because I know that Teri Angel is out in the world, actually very, very actively, boots to the ground out there, spreading peace, and has an actual Peace on Earth tour. And I would love for her to, just really give a little bit of a, what Rick just talked about is what we talk about every day. Teri, you and I talk about every day. And we do a chanting. We're actually been chanting for almost a year. It'll be a full year on May 30th. We've been chanting for peace on Earth. And we've had people from all over the world chanting along with us. And Teri, let's just have you share what is going on with the Peace on Earth tour, and how can we expand this we?
Oh, Karen, thank you. And Rick, oh my gosh, it's so good to be here. I'm honored to be here with all of you wonderful people today. I am in Bryce Canyon, Utah. I'm at a state national park here. And on my vehicle, I call it the Angel Mobile. On my vehicle, I have door signs that say Our Journey of Healing, Peace on Earth Tour. Now, those signs get a lot of attention. People want to know what it is. They want to know what it's about. So wherever I go throughout right now, the United States, I get to have those conversations with people. And I love, Aurora, the term sacred conversations, because I feel like that's what I do every day when I go out into the world. And I'm able to sit with somebody and ask them, what are your thoughts about peace on Earth? What does it look like to you? What would you like to see? So I am, like Karen said, boots to the ground. I'm out here in campgrounds, in communities. I was just in Sedona, Arizona, and there was the 13th land blessing. A land blessing is where the angels bring in a message for that part of the world, and the community gets involved. Anyone that wants can come to that land blessing. Anyone who wants can speak. And there's a huge following that is supporting this whole journey. And they write out messages or send messages for me to speak at the land blessings. And it's all caught on videotape. There's a website, peaceonearthtour.live, and on that website you can watch all 13 of those physical land blessings that have taken place. as well as one virtual land blessing, which I want to bring up because during World Unity Week, right now, our game plan is that we are going to hold virtual land blessings anywhere in the world that somebody wants to come on to the Zoom with us and participate in that in your area. So we will do land blessings and just really ignite this Peace on Earth tour worldwide and have anybody that wants to be involved virtually to hold that space for where you're at in the world and spread the word about peace. One thing that I'm in the process of doing right now is getting some printed material together so that when somebody does ask that question, or when I go to a community where I can speak, maybe to the governmental figures there or the spiritual centers there, I can present them with a pamphlet that talks about peace and talks about peace on earth. And how can you get involved? What does it look like if we all came together as one, Rick, in unity and really made this a global effort? And I know I'm not the only one doing this. There are many people that are out here in the world really wanting to see this happen, to see it explode, to see neighbors talking to neighbors in a kind way, bringing forth more kindness, more love, more peace, more joy in our lives. And it's not that we're ignoring that there are problems in the world. There are many, many problems in the world, but I want to put the focus on peace because what we focus on expands. And we want to give the good news. You know, the mainstream media gives the news about all of the horrors of the world and the things that are going wrong. I want to give the news of the people that are doing things right, the people that are out there making a difference. Aurora, the things you are doing, and Grace, for building up women and having those sacred conversations. Those are the things that I want to share as I go through the world and tell people, you know, there are people out there that really want to see unity, that really want to see us come together in a peaceful way. It is possible. This morning, when I do a daily morning show, and this morning I asked the question, what is peace? Just give me an answer. What is peace for you? And what does peace on earth mean? What does it look like? What would it look like? And I'm going to be using those statements in the printed material that I give to people. This is how we see peace on earth. So let's bring it to the world. Let's bring it out far and wide. And I'd love to have more support. I'd love to have more PR going out that this is happening. And I take requests. If you want me to come to where you are, let me know that. I'm in this angel mobile. She'll go wherever I point her and wherever the angels take her. And let's go into communities more and more every day and share this and talk about it. You know, talk about it openly and let it be something that really makes a difference, makes an impact in the world. Let's leave that spiritual footprint on this earth, that there is peace on earth, and it begins inside of each one of us. So that's what I'm doing, Karen and Rick, and loving every moment of this journey. It's you know, sometimes it's kind of tough because I'm out here all alone, but I know I'm not totally alone. I have the angels with me and I have all of my angel supporters with me. So thank you. And one last thing, I had spoke with Rick before we went live, and I will be heading up the peace component of We the World. So I'm very excited about that. And when I approach you and say, will you help with this? Then please say yes to me. And thank you. Thank you for listening and for your time today with me.
Oh, I'm so excited. I get to share our next beautiful partner is Connie Baxter Marlowe. Oh my gosh, I love this woman so much. She is such a gift to our planet. She has written the most amazing book called The Trust Frequency. She is just all the time involved in believing in a world that works for all of us. She has been a pioneer in really speaking this into our reality. So Connie, please tell us a little bit about what's happening in your corner of the world and where you are at this point in time.
Hi all, wonderful to see you. We're all family. Sending lots of love from Andrew, who is in the driver's seat of the Trust Mobile. We're on the road. So Teri, wonderful to hear about your Angel Mobile. And we have just crossed the border from Arizona to California. We're headed your way, Karen. So we'd love to see you soon in the next few days if you're in Solvang. Meanwhile, yeah, you know, you guys were just speaking, Rick, I came in right as Rick was speaking about Edgar Mitchell's epiphany, that he based the ions research on. And I just want to say, for me, that's my focus. And Andrew's in my focus in this arena, because Andrew has his climate arena that he's also involved in, climate restoration. But in this arena, our focus is on understanding how the universe works so that we can align our minds and our hearts and act from that place, because it's the paradigm, the belief systems we have that we've been raised in that have us not trusting our heart and trusting a loving universe, so that we can shift frequencies into a place where there's more abundance than we can fathom. There's nothing to fight over. We know we're one, we get it. I mean, it's just a given. Because that veil lifts that has us separate. So it's just, war makes no sense whatsoever, because there's nothing to fight over and we're all one anyway. So that's our focus, is helping people understand the loving nature of the universe and giving tools for walking in total trust of that loving universe. So things are moving for us in that regard. We've been waiting for the consciousness to be ready to move to this place that's beyond duality, which is a huge leap. So the consciousness is getting closer and closer to that place where we're going to say, yeah, okay, I get it. It is all love. Okay, but that's huge, because we see so many things as not love. All those things that in that duality, we see in getting into that place where, okay, everything in my life has served me. It's a loving universe. Okay, I am loved. I am on my journey to wholeness. I'm on this journey that I agreed to go on, etc. So we just carry on and put it out there wherever we can. And World Unity Week and the convergences and with Sign and Unity Earth have all been a place to speak that into the collective, into our consciousness. There hasn't been much of an audience for our stuff there, but we're honored and respected and speak it into the collective. So that's we just carry on and trust the loving universe and just love being here with all of you, and knowing that we're in this together. We all have our piece of the puzzle, our piece of the hoop of life, and that together we're going to bring something to pass on Earth that's never been here in the history of the planet. And for me, everything serves that. So it's just really exciting. And thank you, Karen, for including me. And just wonderful to be here with each of you. Power sisters, Grace and Aurora, we know each other, we love each other. And so sweet. And Teri, we haven't met in person, have we, Teri? But we've met on
Not yet.
on Zoom. So maybe we'll cross past the Angel Mobile and the Trust Mobile. We'll park next to each other one day.
I would love that.
Yeah, we love you all. Thank you, Karen.
Yes, Connie, and big hugs to Andrew. And oh my God, yes, definitely come and see me anytime. I would love to see you both. I love you guys. Oh, I love you guys so much. So yes, we're so excited because, Janet Grace has some wonderful updates to share with us about what's happening with Grace's place. So I would love for her to share and also to talk about a little bit more about World Unity Week, to see where we are, and for people who are watching and are new to us, to just have a little bit more, information around that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karen. And thank you, Rick. I just loved you sharing all of your information about we are all in this together. And so Angel has the Angel bus, Connie has the Trust bus, and I have the Love bus. And the Love bus, and I actually have my Love sweatshirt on. I was one of the keynotes for World Love Week. And so this was a gift that just came. But so as we're all talking about how it is that we can create a world that works for everyone, and what's been placed on my heart for as long as I can remember is really to eliminate abuse on this planet. And because if one child's being abused or one woman's being abused, then we're all suffering from it. And it's really just unacceptable in 2021 to still have this happening. And with COVID, the numbers were just astronomically, elevated. And I have been a California advocate for domestic abuse for many, many years. And then last year, it was time to start Grace's Place Foundation. And the whole purpose of it is to have a compassionate community that's going to serve and support women and children for an extended period of time so that they get the skills and the tools to be able to create a vision for their future so they don't go back. Because the percentage of the women that go back to their perpetrator is also astronomical. So everything's just escalating and expanding and growing in many, many, many ways. The exposure to this as even as we are all in this together, we're going to do the first 10-acre compassionate community here in Big Bear. And the bigger vision is that there's going to be a Grace's Place in every community, in every city across the globe, because it's that important. Our children are our future, and the women need to be empowered and need to know who they really are. So lots of things. We're doing a big fundraising event on Memorial Day weekend, which is exciting. And so I was just with my team this afternoon and working out all those details, and all of the work that I'm also so passionately committed to with Sacred Conversations and the Temple of the Rising Feminine, and all of the ways that we as women are standing up, speaking up, showing up, shining up in a whole new way, and being in this space, because unity and we consciousness has always been front and center in our hearts. It's how women operate. We are, this, it's natural for us. It's second nature for us to always be inclusive. So when I think of the word we, the word inclusion, it's like there is no separation and there's no one left out. And it just, so being a partner with We the World has been, just such an honor. And I know that even more opportunities for collaboration, for co-creation is going to continue to show up as we continue our relationship together. And it's just so exciting to really see and feel all of the magical things that are happening out there, that now with awareness, I know more about the angel bus and what Teri Angel is doing with, peace on earth. I just love that. And I know I'm, already feeling into like, how can, the love bus and the peace and the angel bus come together, right? So yeah, there's, with awareness, it opens up our hearts for us to think, how can I get involved? How can I be a part of that journey? And so I just love that you're bringing this, this live together once a month, Karen and Rick, and I'm, honored and privileged to be here amongst you, and feel a big virtual hug from me, from my heart to yours. And to you, Connie and Andrew, be safe on the road, and Angel, be safe on the road. And Aurora, I love and adore you. And I'm so grateful that we're going to be doing our sacred conversations in this platform also, because they've been so precious and so illuminating for all of the women that have joined us thus far over the course of this last year. And to bring this onto your platform, We the World, we're really just so honored and grateful. So once again, thank you from my heart to yours.
Let's just get into a nice little circle here so that we can, for our start to be in that beautiful inclusion. That is the vision that We the World had when Rick started We the World, and over 20 years now. What a beautiful vision. And Rick and I have been working together for years now too, and I'm so honored and so grateful for that. And we have decided to expand the women's campaign to include allies and families, because we, like, exactly what Grace was saying, I am a woman who wants to include everyone. And that's what I think, as mothers, I think as daughters, I think as sisters, and I think that we need to find a way to really have a new communication with the divine masculine. And we have to see each other as equals, and we have to see each other as the same. And I think that we're coming to that. And I love Connie. Connie is so beautiful at sharing this, because she talks about the victim victim. And can you share that that you shared, Connie? Because I think you make it so clear how we need to change this narrative of the victim, and really empower the victims, just like what Grace was saying. So Connie, can you talk to that a little bit?
Well, yeah. Well, for one thing, my feelings about the sacred masculine, bringing that, I have a great empathy for the male heart. And I see the male heart as very tender and therefore very armored, because of our child rearing practices, that we haven't allowed the male to be his true, nurturing, loving, vulnerable self. And so I feel it's just so important to empower that in the male, and to empower the divine masculine in us women, because I'm more balanced to my masculine. Andrew's more balanced to his feminine. He's way more intuitive than I, way more in touch with his body than I. I don't think it matters what suit we're in. I think it's a matter of individual balance. And I think we're coming into balance, all of us, into that place where the divine feminine is honored in all of us, and the divine masculine is honored in all of us, and we get to be our true divine selves, whatever that is, with no shame, no blame, no victim, no perpetrator. That everything going into the victim perpetrator thing is a very big deal. So moving beyond victim consciousness is huge, because victim is a very powerful position to be in within oneself and in the world. And our perspective helps people to see that we gave an overarching act of free will to come on the planet to experience certain things. We don't understand another soul's journey. And from the position of the trust frequency, the understanding that everything happens for us, not to us in our lives. And there are people who've gone through extreme abuse and extreme, everything we call not love. And they see the power that it has given them, that they see the gifts that it has brought to them in their lives. It's a big leap, but it's many people have made that leap. So I just will contribute that to the conversation. Thank you for asking, Karen.
Thank you, Connie. I love your perspective, and I love how you share a new narrative of how we can end this abuse cycle. I think that it's such an important conversation, and Grace, I love that you are, again, boots to the ground in there, love and action, you know, being out there and creating these beautiful spaces where people feel safe. I think that when people feel safe, they are comfortable expressing themselves. And that's what I think is what I believe Rick and I are holding in this vision for these networkings, and also what I believe we're going to expand with Aurora in the sacred conversations. So I think that, you know, this is such an exciting time for all of us to be, you know, on this journey together, really uplifting each other and knowing that we're all the same, you know, and that we all have the same, this beautiful vision that's been placed in our heart, and that we know that there is a bigger, there's something bigger happening than I like to say, like, it's just too wonderful for words. We can't even express it, almost, what's happening on the planet right now. And I know that the appearances look so disturbing and upsetting. Aurora, can you speak to that a little bit? I would love to have you speak to that a little bit, about the sacred conversation of how do we have that new narrative where people feel safe to express.
Yeah, beautiful. And, you know, I feel like you're really tuning into something that feels more important than ever, these containers of safety. And really, this is a container of safety right here. You know, the sacred conversation that Teri's having as she's going around the globe and where she's moving is a container of safety. And so the need for safety for many reasons, not only for safety for those who are feeling in whatever consciousness they're in, whether it's victim consciousness or not, to actually be able to fully express, but also safety for us to explore our newness. Because one of the things that feels very, very important, whilst we're all holding these spaces and knowing and these embodiments, and we all have this unique part to play, we're also moving and evolving as well. And so these spaces are just as important for those who are in our communities that we are serving, but also they are important for us and each other. And it's interesting, one of the core teachings that I work with the women, having run, you know, women's masterminds, global masterminds across the world, mainly in groups now, versus one-on-one coaching, because I feel so much happens when we come together in the seeing and the witnessing and the holding space for one another and for ourselves. But one of the core teachings is all around taking 100% personal responsibility. And I remember when this was shared with me some years ago, I'm like, responsibility, what's my relationship with that word? And, you know, often when we say the word responsibility, there is a level of feeling a little bit, you know, heavy, a sense of burden. In fact, a lot of people feel that way. And yet really responsibility is an ability to respond, you know, to have that power to be able to respond. And I remember playing with the 100% responsibility triangle, and I'm sure you've probably seen and played with this in different ways. And the triangle looks like this. On one corner of the triangle is the victim consciousness that we've been sort of speaking into, which is really exacerbated across the globe right now because there's so much fear. Yeah. And then we've got the rescuer, you know, the play where, you know, I'm really enabling the victim because I'm trying to fix it, even though that one kind of is a little bit elusive because, you know, the rescuer thinks they're just being supportive and yet they're also in their own fear triangle. And then we have the perpetrator, and the perpetrator essentially being the one who's doing something to the other, you know, and the victim is like something is being, life is doing this to me, and the rescuer is trying to sort it all out. And so, you know, I got to learn and have held the space for many women across the globe to sort of say, you know, as soon as I have any judgment of myself or another, I've come out of total responsibility. And I'm playing in one of those roles in the triangle. And so, you know, it's been a really beautiful practice for me to constantly or to remember, you know, where is my attention right now? Am I blaming Teri for something that she said or did? You know, am I actually, you know, have that critic going crazy, blaming myself? As soon as I'm in blame, I know that I've sort of come out of that place of being able to rise into another level of empowerment. And so, you know, having opportunities to have the safety to practice these places, and hence why I love the mastery groups and having women coming together consistently where trust gets built. Same with sacred conversations. You know, Janet Grace and I also have an ongoing sacred conversation type program as well, because we learn to trust, and really who we're learning to trust is ourselves. You know, we're learning to then re-trust each other, and we're also reconnecting to our relationship with the divine. You know, that's the piece of the sacred piece. And so this other level of wholeness comes to come through. And, you know, it can then be a little bit funny. Oh, I'm doing that victim role again. You know, as opposed to it being, oh, you know, I'm speaking with Connie, look what we're doing, you know, and we can actually play with it as we move into another level of brilliance. And that this is another reason why it's important to be in good company. So I can look at Grace in her eyes and say, I love you. And what I'm noticing is, you know, and she can receive me. And we tend to be able to move and groove and grow together. So I hope that has helped what you were leaning into, Karen. Yeah.
It helps so deeply. It really is. That's such a perfect thing to say, really, when you think about it. It is about trusting yourself and the true self, the original innocent self. The you know, it's so beautiful when we can be in this space where we do trust ourselves. And when we do trust ourselves, we take 100% responsibility, ability to respond, just like what Aurora was saying. That's what this is all about, right, Rick? This is what this is all about. Why we have We the World, why we have the collaborations that we have, is we're taking 100% responsibility for each of these campaigns. I'm taking 100% responsibility to be showing up, to be the best possible version that I can be of Karen Palmer in this person, in this bodysuit that I have chosen at this time and space. And I am so excited because now we're expanding, and Rick's beautiful vision has expanded so that we can include allies and families, so that now we have Grace's space, and we have Aurora with She Speaks. We have Connie and Andrew with the trust frequency, and we have Teri with Peace on Earth tour, and we have me working with all the children that I work with and the animals and all the ways that we can bring this all together so that we continue to have these conversations so everyone feels included. That is the vision that my heart has held, and especially for what I do in the schools. I truly believe that we can change this narrative by changing the way that we teach children how to navigate this illusion of separation and help to really understand how they can navigate their emotions so that everyone feels safe expressing themselves in art, in music, however they want to express themselves. I believe that we can start this as young as 4 years old. And I think that it's, you know, in the schools, in the preschools, I believe that we should have a program that goes from preschool to high school. And then by high school, the high school kids come back and they are the mentors to the little ones. And the little ones continue to have this message. And so I'm holding that space for this campaign. And just as Aurora said, I trust myself. I trust Rick. I trust Grace. I trust Connie. I trust Teri. I trust Aurora. I trust that everyone who's watching this and who will watch the replay, I trust Summer and John for helping us to have this sine wave. I believe that we at World Unity Week are going to reach millions of people that are going to start to have that, oh, wait, maybe I can have a different consciousness. Wow, actually, this actually sounds like something that I might like to get involved in. It's really amazing when we have these conversations and you can see the light go on in the person's eyes and they say, oh, you've been doing this? And you're actually reaching that many people? Wow. How can I get involved? I'd like to get that. And that's what I do with We the World is I believe I'm a divine connector. And I believe that I brought, you know, Teri together with Rick because I knew that there was something so important to have this conversation and to be able to have the Peace on Earth tour be a part of We the World, because Rick lives this. I mean, he lives this. And to be able to support what Connie is doing with Andrew, to be able to continually share the trust frequency, which I believe is the answer. I really do. I believe it's the answer. I have said that since the moment I met Connie. I believe the trust frequency is the answer. Can you share a little bit about the trust frequency, Connie, and how people can connect with you and Andrew? Oh, look at that cute picture of you. You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah. Yes. So the trust frequency.
.net.
Got that right. Yeah. So what I expressed was that we give tools for people to be able to trust their own heart and to trust the circumstances, that circumstance loves us more than we do, that it's actually taking us on the journey that we agreed to come on when we incarnated. Okay, so that everything is basically a soul choice for our journey to wholeness, which is journey to self-love, self-acceptance, alignment with our divinity, and our gift, that the whole universe is awaiting the gift we promised to bring to the party of life. And that's us, all of us. And I think we're all saying that. Everybody here, Aurora and Grace and Teri and Karen and Rick, we're all saying that aligning with our divinity, our oneness, our gift that we promised to bring is our life journey. And that's our understanding, and that that we gave permission for it when we incarnated, and the loving universe is showing up for that journey, whatever it may be. We just don't know another soul's journey. So taking responsibility means understanding that. It doesn't mean that we created all this horrible stuff in our lives and it's our karma and all that is anything to be ashamed of. It's the work we came here to do, and the loving universe is bringing the experiences we agreed to, the journey we agreed to go on. I know it's a huge leap, because when we're trying to address, Grace with her addressing the abuse that happens, how can you just can't go into that and say, yeah, it's okay, abuser, they asked for it, sort of thing. That's not okay. It's everyone playing their role. Grace is called to address that situation, to bring higher consciousness into that situation, so that those recipients of abuse, those enmeshed in that, can say, okay, hey, guess what? I don't need to be abused anymore. I am a divine being. I don't need abuse anymore to show me my shame, my blame, my whatever, my less than, that I'm not okay. I don't need someone to hit me anymore to tell me I'm not okay. Because guess what? I'm divine. I am the most magnificent thing that ever came on this planet, and watch out, world. So then the perpetrator goes away, because the perpetrator is actually serving that journey. So that's the perspective. And it's a whole construct on the nature of the universe and our place in it, and our relationship with ourselves, others, and the universe. So we have a course called The Dance of Souls, where we put people through this process of piercing through all our masks, our defense mechanisms that are covering up those parts of ourselves we don't love yet, that people are showing to us through their behaviors, their treatment of us, and circumstance, showing us, hey, oh, look, goodness, that person just promised they'd go to the movies with me and they didn't, and now I'm feeling abandoned. Well, why am I feeling abandoned by that person who wouldn't go to the movies? Because I don't feel I'm okay. I'm worthy of having a friendship that would show up for me and go to the movies. Okay, it's simple. But anyway, so I'll leave it at that. But hopefully I gave some insights into this construct. And thanks for asking.
Yes, and also, Connie, we want to go around with everyone and see, let people know how people can connect with you. Do you have a website or something like that? Each person really on this panel, we want them to be able to give their information, how people can connect with you.
Sweet, yeah. So we have a website called, that is thetrustfrequency.net. And we have a free ebook. If one goes to thetrustfrequency.net, we have a free ebook called The Conscious Loving Universe, a guidebook. So people can go there and just go to CLU ebook in our menu, and they can get our ebook that really gives this construct in a very simple way. And otherwise, let's see. Yep, that's about it. The trustfrequency.net. So thanks for asking, Rick. And yeah, so I'll pass it on to the next person. Take care.
Thank you. How about Janet? Do you want to let people know how they can connect with you?
Sure. Thank you, Rick. So my website is gracesplacefoundation.org. And there's all kinds of, events that we're putting on. And there's also a free gift. It's called the 7-Day Self-Love Journey. And it's a video series that is a gift from my heart to yours. And it's really talking about the steps that are really essential: acceptance and appreciation and believing in yourself. They're just, short videos, but it's a beautiful way to expand that and then have those conversations with your children, with your dear friends, with your family, with your, with your team. It's really just spreading the love, and also, watching love in action is another aspect of it. So thank you for asking, and yeah, appreciate you so much.
Likewise. How about you, Teri?
Thank you, Rick. I had to unmute. Yes, I have a website called angelspeakers with an S.com, and you can contact me through there. There's a contact page. Also, if you want to watch the Peace on Earth Tour Land Blessings, you can go to peaceonearthtour.live, and all of them are there, as well as information of how you can get involved and be a part of this and support it more. So thank you for asking.
Great. And Aurora?
Yes, so you can find me on shespeaks.live, which is my website. And yeah, easily send an email or connect there. I just want to do a little reminder of some of the dates as well. So shespeaks.live is really working with the different sacred conversations. I'm also working a lot with the emerging conscious leaders in a program called Born to Lead. Really supporting them, and also with Janet Grace and 2 other beautiful women, we have a 12-week mentoring program on conscious rising leadership, really supporting the leaders to launch their projects and bodies of work into the world. So it's a very beautiful program. So just a little reminder for your diaries, June the 1st is Sacred Conversations in cooperation with We the World. Janet Grace and I will be hosting a conversation on unity, where we get an opportunity to tune into ourselves and one another, 4:30 p.m. PST. I know, Karen, you'll probably be sharing it in the post. And then on June the 3rd, we'd love to invite all the women to come together. We'll be speaking into World Unity Week and what we're doing in the Temple of the Rising Feminine, and how we can all co-create during World Unity Week. And World Unity Week is amazing. There'll be so many different, I look at it like festival tents, huge festival with lots of festival tents, and each tent is holding a different sector: conscious business, children, the women, the divine masculine. So please come along and also bring your communities. Thank you so much, Karen, for holding such a beautiful space. Just really wanted to acknowledge your heart and your commitment. And one of the big things that kept coming through as I was listening to each of you speak on the screen was the place of courage. The courage that it's taken us, the courage that it's taken you, Teri, to jump in your van and bring your message across the globe. And all that it takes, the beauty of it, but also the challenge. Connie and Andrew, who just continually, diligently share their wisdom and their knowledge through any medium they can, and such warm hearts. It's such a pleasure. We got an opportunity to hug one another and hang out overseas. And to each of you, Rick, for having the courage to continue holding this vision. And it feels so ready, doesn't it? It just feels like there's such a readiness for connection. And to each of you, I'm going to leave it there. Lots of love, and thank you so much.
And Karen, how can people connect with you and all the amazing things you're doing?
Well, the best way actually is just to email me at karenpalmer@wetheworld.org, because that's really, if you are wanting to be involved in any of this, that's what I can, get right back to you. You can also find me at globalkindnesstv.org. And if you are wanting to be a partner, it would be wonderful for you to go to we.net and join as a partner. We also have the incredible globalunitycalendar.org. I've typed all of these links in, all the links of all the people who are here tonight. I've been typing behind the scenes here. If you see me with my head down, that's what I'm doing, is getting everybody's information out there to the world. So this will be, on many different pages, on many different groups. I encourage anyone who's watching this to share it to your own timeline, to share it to any groups that you are a member of, any pages that you might manage. Please share this, and really let's just keep having these conversations, and really, like beautiful Teri said, what we focus on expands. So let's keep focusing on a world that works for all of us. Let's keep focusing on that trust frequency, becoming a real frequency on the planet where everyone trusts themselves and stops blaming others. Let's hold a vision where we are seeing women and families and allies not in competition or in argument even, but learning how to communicate on a level that is so much more beautiful than we have ever experienced on the planet. I think we have an incredible opportunity as a society right now. So Rick, how can people get in touch and be a part of all this with you?
Sure. And certainly we.net is like where it all happens.
It's the
That's the
festival.
place.
It's
That's the
festival
place.
tent.
Exactly. And I also want to mention that our next issue of Trends magazine is coming out in June. We relaunched it in March for International Women's Day and the beginning of Earth Month, culminating on Earth Day in April. And you can download the issues and even the trend reports by going to trends.we.net. And the full title of the magazine is Trends in Global Grassroots Organizing. So it's really about all of the people who are working to create a more peaceful, sustainable, just, and transformed world. At the beginning of June, we're going to have a launch party, as it turns out, and for this next issue of Trends. And June is a special month anyway. It's International Children's Month. So all kinds of things are happening with regard to children and youth. Heidi Little and some of her partners launched International Children's Month, I think it was 8 or 9 years ago. And so it's an incredible opportunity to connect with youth and support youth activists and do all those kinds of things. And there's going to be a tremendous focus on youth during World Unity Week. The Global Wave of Love that Heidi's been doing each year for International Children's Month is going to happen on June 21st, which is part of World Unity Week. And all kinds of things. We're going to have the 3-month countdown to 11 Days of Global Unity in March. I mean in June, and then and many of our campaigns we're going to be doing things during World Unity Week. We have the Climate Collaboratory with intergenerational conversations on climate, and the Economic Justice Campaign, and we're going to probably connect with the Poor People's Campaign because we've been partners with them for a while now, talking about how we can eradicate poverty in the United States and around the world, and so many other things. So again, you can find it all by going to we.net. So how about we end on this idea about now is the time for we, as our dear friend Jonathan Granoff said when he did the keynote speech when we launched we.net and launched the We campaign about 10 years ago. He said, I hope we expand so much that there's no longer any them. So thank you.
Yay. Love that. Thank you, Rick. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. Wow.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all so much for being here and for being such beautiful friends to us. We're so incredibly grateful for all of you, for taking the time to share your wisdom, your love, and your care. And really, let's just have this amazing expansion of we. We!
It's all about we.
all about we.
Thank
All
you.
about we. Thank you, everybody, so much.
Okay,
Love you.
bye-bye.